police. There's a case of a governor of Nasarawa who bought a helicopter for the police. And every time you see governors buying them vehicles and things like that, the police will use the vehicle for 1 year, you will see them again. Okay. I am not even talking about corruption in the system itself. I'm not even talking about corruption, which is a very, very big issue. You know, within the system. Okay. So if you then reduce the responsibility from the federal level to the state level, like I said, safety from the bottom up, most of these problems will disappear. I can assure you. Most of these problems will disappear.
Questions before I hand over back the ball is I know you to be a security expert. I follow your writings on Yahoo groups and Google groups. I know what you have said over the years and your ideas about the state of security. Do you entertain the fear that some people have that perhaps there are some outside forces who are hell-bent on sponsoring instability in Nigeria, maybe to cause chaos? Do you entertain that fear?
You see, all these outsiders or no outsiders, there's no way anybody can destabilize your country without the insiders. No way. Okay? If you take the example, they said Fulanis have come from Mali, Niger. You know how far Mali is from Nigeria? We can talk about Niger. And the case of Niger, they've been coming here for the last 50 or 60 years. Okay? But their rate, serious. Because I've traveled to Yobe State and gone up to the Niger border, which is all desert. Okay? During the dry season, they come in force. But they've never crossed the boundary to the south. Okay? They've never crossed the boundary to the south. They've always been contained in the north. Second thing is this is that two things have been a big surprise to me when people talk about the herders and so on. If you look at the herders, somebody owned the cows. Who are the owners of the cows? Who are the owners of the cows? Two, who gave them guns? Who gave them guns? Who gave them the money to buy guns? And why should you, as an owner of cows, allow your herders to carry guns to defend themselves against who? Against farmers who have no arms? Thirdly, I cannot see. This is where the Francophone countries are better than us. This is where the Francophone countries are better than us. You can never get into any forest or get into a community without being detected. Therefore, community leaders have to explain to me and the traditional rulers, how do those people manage to get there without their knowledge? How? Money. They've been collecting money from those people. And those people feel so confident. Give them money, you can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. Okay? And what you then discover also too, politicians in Nigeria are politicians. They're not playing politics. They play politics. And that's why we have the situation that you are sort of describing now. And except, like I've said, you start looking at safety from the bottom up and responsibilities for the governors and local government chairs. No way. Abuja cannot solve the problem. Abuja can solve the problem. Because criminals come from communities whether urban or rural. They come from communities. Where they come from, they don't drop from heaven. All these ones that they say they come across the border and things like that, I do not believe it.
So are we the
I do
president?
not believe it. When they said the people from Libya were bringing in arms, I was in the UN, in the Security Council Department, Sanctions Department for 4.5 years. There's a panel on Libya. When Nigeria complained that there are arms from Libya coming to Nigeria, that panel came to Nigeria twice. They didn't find the arms. They didn't find the arms. And I can also tell you too that if you take a bullet, if you look at the bottom of the bullet, you can determine where that bullet is made. If you take a rifle, you can determine which country that arms are manufactured. Why are we not interested in finding out? Why are we not?
Have any effort been made to trace the source of arms being and the prevalence of armed proliferation in Nigeria?
Pardon?
Have any efforts been made to trace the source of arms that comes into Nigeria?
I don't know. See, they have two committees. They have two committees, you know. They have two committees who are supposed to be for small arms. What are they doing? I don't know. One under the Ministry of Defense and one under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So, what are they doing? That's what I'm telling you. There's a whole confusion. There's a whole confusion. A national security advisor who is supposed to coordinate the whole system. Unfortunately, is incompetent. Is incompetent. Very unfortunate. Totally incompetent.
Well, let me give floor to some other people to ask their questions.
Okay. One more question, please, General. You see, intelligence gathering, we've been told that it's all about collective efforts from the military, hierarchy, and other sister security agencies. And in this situation, we have had a recorded number of times where bandits were being negotiated by Sheikh Ahmed Gumi. And Sheikh Ahmed Gumi is a concern in Nigeria. He recorded a number of times where he went there to bargain with them. If in the concern isn't like Gumi can locate you say that the whole Nigeria those trap these bandits and make them eliminated or crush them. They cannot be able to do that.
So, again, it is a glaring example of incompetence of the political authority and the command and control of the security agencies and the military. To me, and I've said so many times, Sheikh Gumi is an Islamic evangelist. That's what he is.
But he knows where these bandits are. Why can't the government work with him and fish them out and crush them?
Yeah, but he has also said too, that the government knows the bandit. He said so. He said the government knows the bandit, and the bandits know, and the government knows where they are. He said so. In fact, when he went to negotiate in Niger State some few weeks ago, he was negotiating with the bandits near a military so they know. And when it's giving up, where do you get your guns from? He said you can buy guns like a piece of bread anywhere. So if you can buy bread, so the journalist asked him, where do you buy the bread you call gun? He said, why should I tell you? It means that there's something wrong with your intelligence system. Okay? And not only that, there's also something wrong with your counterintelligence. Because if our boys in the North East keep running into ambush and getting killed, something's wrong with your counterintelligence system. Something wrong with your counterintelligence system. So that's what I'm saying. Confusion reigns. Confusion reigns. And it is only the governors and Asofila that can resolve the present confusion that we have. And it's not difficult.
Okay, can the government claim
good afternoon, General. I want to use the opportunity to thank you for taking time out to come and address us. Your presentation has been very insightful. I've got 3 questions to ask. If you can just address them one at a time. The first question is that what is the way out of the current situation? I know we've talked about the issues, we've addressed, we've discussed about the causes. What are the way out? What strategies do we need? How do we get out of this? That's question number 1. Question number 2. How?
No, let me answer that one.
Okay.
You know, this old brain, I've got to take it one by one.
Okay.
It's not as smart as your young one. Okay. Now, that question, I've just made a point. See, in every country, you have research institutions within the organization and outside the organization. What are they doing? They are looking at the present and the future threats and advising the political authority, you need to do this, you need to reform this, you need to form this, you need to change this. It is not happening. So every government that comes into power, they just deal with the problem immediately. And that's all. And it is not lack of think tanks. The army has, intelligence people, they have an Institute for Security Studies and so on and so forth. So the National Defense College, the Armed Forces Staff College, NDA, and so on. Are they not producing ideas? Why are they not being listened to? The NSA, who is supposed to be collecting all these ideas, is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? It's not. That is why we are in this mess. And my suggestion has always been, start taking care of the community safety. If you can do that, you solve 75% of the problem. Start from the community. So what Southwest has done with the Amotekun, if the Amotekun is well trained, I am telling you, there will be safety in Southwest. There's safety in the Southwest. And I've made some suggestions to those who want to listen. Secondly, too, don't make them to carry guns. Like you know, there are so many gadgets, tasers, stun guns, bullets, rubber bullets, wooden bullets that they can carry, blinding flash that they can carry. They don't need to carry guns. Any country where you have the police carrying guns all over the place, that country is in trouble. Anywhere in the world, that country is in trouble. So, second question, sir.
Right. What would you advise the diaspora to do to be able to intervene in this process? Well, how do you see the diaspora intervention in this matter?
The what?
the diaspora, those of us in diaspora, what do you think we can do? What advice would you give to us to be able to engage this process?
Now, so see, very good question. The issue is this: is that, like I said earlier, are they listening to think tanks? Do they read papers? Somebody said Africans don't read, and it's very true. Ezio Kunine, it's very true. Africans don't read. I run an NGO, I circulate papers. You get a reply, and you are sure that that person has not read what you have sent to him. Even ordinary mails. And if you don't read, how can you get ideas? Okay? How can you get ideas? Now, I remember the case of Reagan. He confessed and said, hey, you guys, I don't like to read long papers. Give me 2-page paper to read. I will read, then I ask you to come and explain. That's what Buhari should have done. He should have confessed. I can't read long papers. I can only read 2-page, 1-page paper. Then you can explain. But please tell me the truth. Because if things go wrong, I'm going to fire you. And what you then notice is this: is that they don't give him the 2-page paper. So I doubt whether it is, but he listens to them. And when things go wrong, he doesn't fire them. Because if he does, how come that service chiefs, NSA up to now, they've stayed there for over 5 years? And things like this, like Iwodu, these are getting worse. When the war with that sort of thing happened, he let them go reluctantly. And when they left, he made them excellencies, ambassadors. I wish I had that luck. I wish I had that luck. But I'm not lucky. Anyway, so...
And lastly...
what I would suggest is that if you have ideas and you have friends in the military or in any of the think tanks, or even a Lombard, you can publish it. They do read, some of their advisors do read some of these papers. Really. They do read them. Telling you. Because there are some conversations like this. They listen to them and pick up some ideas that will not, affect their own position and, make whatever they can do with it and do with it. But as long as it doesn't affect their own position, that's what I discovered.
Sorry. Lastly, in the light of the various agitation in the country, how do you see Nigeria in 3 years? Did you hear the question? Did you hear the question?
Yes. We are talking about agitations in the country. Or what did you say? Repeat the question, please. Can you repeat the question? I can't hear you. Can you hear him? Can anybody hear him? Can you hear him?
Dr. Charles, can you unmute yourself and repeat the question?
I didn't hear your last question.
Right. I said in the light of the various agitation in the country for self-rule and so on and so forth, how do you see Nigeria in 3 years?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Oduduwa group want to do a republic. Some people are crying for the Biafra to be reborn. And so on. The North Central people said, if that sort of thing happened, with his country. So the governors again, acculturation of culture, okay, in which the governors do not want to change in their own time. All right. Because if you go to Abuja, collect free money, come back, and you go next to collect money, everybody asking how you are spending. You don't want the system to change. You want the status quo to remain. That's what it is. And then you can change your local government chairman anytime you like. You collect their money, you don't give them the money. You hold your state house of assembly. You do whatever you like with them. So there's no separation of power at the state level. None. Even at the federal level, the president dominates. So what sort of federal system is that? That's why. The government can make things change. The governors. Neither can anybody do on their own. But the elites in this country are benefiting from the system. So they don't want any change too. They don't want any change too. If the elites and the governor decide they want to change, it will happen. It will happen. I promise you.
Okay, thank you very much, General. The next question is, it seems the bandits, people who are invading Nigerians, are way sophisticatedly armed than our security agencies. And we have recorded a number of times when they were arrested, but none of them have been processed. Is there a conspiracy, collaboration between the military hierarchy in giving up sabotage and using the security intelligence gathering by these bandits, because they come in a town at will, abduct schoolgirls, and go back to the forest? And Governor Matawale of Zamfara State and Bala Muhammad of Bauchi even empowered them by his words that they should be carrying AK-47. In this case, do we also, the farmers, Nigerians, their arms to defend themselves?
See, there's something you got to accept. People in security agencies are human beings, and they can be tempted. Okay? On so many occasions, policemen have been found to collude with the bandits, with the kidnappers. Okay? Because there's an interesting story in Maiduguri of one of the very rich men who was kidnapped. His son was kidnapped also. The kidnappers asked for millions of naira. Okay? And they were told to pay the money into a bank. When they got to the bank, the person waiting to collect the money was discovered to be a police officer. Will you imagine that? And the case of a doctor in Kaduna that was kidnapped with the daughter. The doctor recognized the policeman that killed his father. So you find, that's what I'm saying. Corruption too is a serious issue in our country. Very, very, very serious. And because of impunity, No, everybody will tell you that corruption is all over the world. Yes, but impunity is not all over the world. If they catch you in UK, no matter who you are, they will arrest you, take you to court. EFCC has so many files. The other time, when they said they were going to probe Tinubu, and they were asking for his files from Code of Conduct Bureau, what did they say? The files have disappeared. When Madu House was sacked, they found files of top politicians in Magu's house, which he has removed from the office. What sort of system is that? What sort of system is that? And nobody sees the report of any probe in Nigeria, whether at National Assembly or at government level. Nobody sees any probe. That is impunity. That is impunity. And if you continue like that, you can never improve the situation. You can never improve the situation. So, what can we do at our level? Again, if the governors do what is necessary, all these things will change. All these things will change.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to ask this one more question. We have witnessed exchange of money going into this forest. Even some of the bandits have come out and said that the government is arming them. In 1993, you deserted the government of General Sani Abacha. You criticized and engaged that government. You against the dictatorship of General Sani Abacha. Are you against this government of Major General Muhammad Buhari, retired, of not combating this organized banditry? I call it organized banditry because a lot of confessional statements have been made that these bandits are being supplied with arms by the government that be. And if the government that be send the military to shoot aside, and possessing AK-47, and over 2 weeks, getting to 3 weeks, we have not seen any military personnel or soldier, and never have shot any bandits. We have widely also read in our national dailies that most of the bandits arrested were released. We saw the one that happened in Oyo State, where a Fulani warlord, otherwise known as Wakili, was arrested by the OPC-led Adams Ghanaian faction. The operatives who arrested him were detained. And the warlord, though has been litigated, he was given a parochial kind of treatment. I call it parochial because in the faces of people, Nigerians who are defenseless, they demanded justice, and that he ought not to have been pampered. So the way you also criticize Major General Sani Abacha, can you be able to say something about the Buhari government over this unperturbed and unprecedented insecurity by the bandits in Nigeria?
Yeah, but see, look at the president has said, shoot anybody that's carrying a gun. So it's left for the security agencies, which to me is inhuman. And I'm sure security agencies won't do that anyway. Therefore, it shows you again the level of incompetence and lack of in-depth thinking about how to deal with the problem. The second thing is this also. When money talks in Nigeria, people listen. And I remember one time in the north, when there was a problem between the herders and the farmers, they said in the past, They used to call the two sides together, and they have a way of resolving the issue. Once the police came into the whole dialogue, money started changing hands, and they started having problems. So if you go to the police station today, and you don't have any money, forget it. You become the guilty person. The person that you're going to report about, if that person has money, so you have a problem there. You have a problem there. That's why. Again, whatever you say, banditry, criminality starts from the community level. Deal with it there. It has to be from bottom up. There's no way out. It has to be from bottom up. And the responsibility has got to be shared with the community. So if the community wants safety, they have to accept the responsibility. If they do not, then it is their problem. It is their problem. No, but if you live in a street in UK, in London, or anybody, people tend to watch out for the criminal elements in their community. And if they know, they let the police know. That's safety. That's what a community should be doing in Nigeria. That's what it is. You work, that's what you call law enforcement. You cannot do law enforcement without the community. You cannot. As far as OPC is concerned, it's a vigilante arm. Now, where does OPC get money to operate? Who pays them? Who pays them? It's a vigilante arm. And when Jonathan was there, he gave them a very big contract to protecting pipelines. And that is one of the responsibilities of the civil defense. That's what I'm telling you, there's a whole confusion. There's a whole confusion
Thank you, sir.
of our whole security system.
Thank you, sir. Let's call on President now. Handing up in a few minutes. Let's call on President to ask the
Okay, Professor, thanks so much. I've been listening to you. I'm quite incisive. Most of your submissions. I wanted to ask, because what it appears to me looks like poverty in the land tends to drive a lot of these vices. Globally now, governments are thinking of ensuring a universal basic income for its citizens. And their thought process is that rather than use these monies to buy weapons to deal with criminals and all that, guarantee some level of universal basic income for every citizen. By that way, they will be dissuaded from crime. What's your thoughts about this?
Now, that is the new discussion that's going on around the world. Some communities, even in the United States, and some parts of the world like Brazil, under Lula, have tried that and it has worked. Okay? But to me, again, I believe that if you try that from the state level, it can work. Instead of federal government doing that. And for that to work, it means that you need to have a very good federal system. Most of the states in the South have enough means to be able to generate enough revenue to do a universal basic income. Okay? But one thing we've got to remember is that most young people, and it's always very interesting, in Lagos, who are Lagosians, turn themselves into area boys. Okay? But you see young boys from the north who come into Lagos, and whatever they can find to do, they do. The area boys are fighting traders, doing this, trying to get money from them by all means. Even when you give them work, they are not ready to do. Okay, so the best thing would be to have universal basic income for families only. That's what Lula did in Brazil for families. And they discovered that doing that to families do help a lot. And with that, they look after their children, send them to school, and do whatever is necessary. And some might even encourage you to start looking for work, to be able to supplement universal basic income. In the United States, there's a lot of argument going on about that. And I remember a mayor in New York, one of the times to California, tried it with the support of the foundation, and it worked very well. And it's even encouraged more people to even look for work and say, stop, I've got something to do now. I don't want the money anymore. So it's an idea that is being pushed around in many African countries. But I believe that, again, you should start from the bottom. Once you start it from the top, corruption.
Thank you, Professor. My last question, Lantani, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course.
Nigerian inability to be able to punish people who tends to benefit from proceeds of crime, because that is one of the basic problems. People steal and they are allowed to enjoy that money. You know, the moment we're able to put in place a system that will ensure that once you steal, you are not allowed in any way, because corruption is stealing. I don't want us missing words about it. Money that is meant for everybody, you took it yourself. It's pure stealing. Okay, so do you think that, or what do you think we can do to ensure? Because to me, this whole thing is just one model of mess. Because one man at the top just calls the shot, and he punishes who and he lets go who he wants to let go. It just comes to me like a very crazy system. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, you see, when the Obasanjo was creating the EFCC and the ICPC, we told him, don't do it that way. But because Obasanjo himself, I'm sorry to say, is a crook, he created it purposely that way, because he's a crook. And I remember in May 1999 at the election, and we were discussing the issue. And I said, if I ever get a chance to be the head of EFCC at his farm, when he called the meeting, I told him, you are the first person to be probed. That's what I told him. You are the first person to be probed, you. Okay? So, how can you create an anti-corruption organization and you have that anti-corruption organization in which the chairman and the chief executive are one and the same? Who is checking who? Two, how can you put that same person to be reporting to you as the president and also to the attorney general? And three, how can you bring a junior officer, assistant commissioner of police, level 13, 14, to head such an important agency? What is the track record of the person supposed to head it? What is the track record? And coupled with that, there had been a bill on the Code of Conduct Bureau at National Assembly since 1999 that Nadi Obasanjo and everybody that came after him bothered to push. Because that bill says that all declarations will be made open to the public. All declarations will be made open to the public. The second thing was to create ICPC to dilute the power of the FCC, and created the ICPC to be exactly the same thing, chairman and chief executive. When it's not a profit-making company. And we also told him at that time too that we needed an attorney general that will not be reporting to the president. We have what we call a public defender, as we have in South Africa, who is independent of the president. And on two occasions, President Zuma was probed by the public defender in South Africa, and the president too was taken to court by the public defender for campaign finance problem. Can that will happen in Nigeria? And see how the Attorney General manipulated Magu out of the FCC and nothing has happened. So they are not serious about the anti-corruption something. And therefore impunity reigns. So if you're on the right side of the government, don't worry, you can steal as much as you like. Or they keep your file for the last 15, 20 years and nothing happens. Now, how can somebody like Fayose be walking about the street? That man, if he were in China, should have been shot. During the time of Jonathan, they carried the money in a plane. To Ekiti. And they spent 3 days counting the money. Nothing's happened to Fayose. Nothing is fine to Fayose. And so many other stories like that. What's the country?
Nothing you have said here gives me any hope for the future. My final question, and then please, Paul, we round it up because our time is up. My final question to you, generally, is this: it takes the silence of good men for evil to thrive. I don't know whether you will need to confirm this now. When your name was mentioned as being appointed to head our independent National Electoral Commission. Eventually, I don't know whether
you have to speak louder. It's raining very hard there. Very, very hard.
Okay. Why have you not accepted a federal appointment? That's my last question. Why have you not accepted a federal appointment to help put the system right? Because I learned some time ago, you appointed to Independent National Electoral Commission. Your name was mentioned. We heard that you refused to accept the appointment.
No. You see, if you want to be appointed with a position in Nigeria, you got to look at the environment. There's no need being appointed and resign 2 weeks after because the environment is not right. Okay? And therefore, the things you want to do, you are not able to do it. Because even the people under you will do as much as possible to make sure that it will not succeed. Okay? Now, what we are saying, like FCC, we said, don't appoint anybody. Again, they have a system in South Africa. What did they do? They asked people, they advertise in the newspaper and ask people to nominate persons of integrity to be members of the board. Okay? For the chief executive, open advert so that anybody can apply. Okay. They wouldn't do that because after the election, Ribadu, that most journalists were praising and things like that, when Ribadu left, he owned a house that cost 400 million naira. He asked Ribadu, why did he get the money for to buy a 400 million naira house at that time? He said he borrowed the money from his father-in-law. His father-in-law was an academic BC of Ahmadu Bello. Where did he get 400 million? El-Rufai sat in the Bureau of Public Bureau. They gave consultancy to a farm in Netherlands. Journalists went to look for the address of that farm. They found it's a church.
El-Rufai.
They found it's a church. They didn't know the name of the farm. But they gave the farm the contract, costing billions of naira. Nigeria lost about 10 billion of that deal. El-Rufai is a governor. If Fayose can be a governor, why not? I beg you, sir. It's a story.
Oh, God. Okay, I don't have any words to... All right, Otunba, please, before Paul rounds up, Otunba, let's say
Thank you very much, Dan. A long time. Well, I joined in very late, but because of my my experience in all these kind of topics, I have a very good idea of probably what the honorable host must have been telling your audience. I can imagine what he has also gone through as a true Nigerian. But the one broad-based general question I want to ask him is, how long is all this going to go on? All these shenanigans, all these kind of open and effrontery of a government after government taking advantage of the people, messing around, doing silly things, and looks like people can't do anything. I have an Australian professor friend, and every time we had this question, I say, Otumba, I've always asked him, what is if 1% of Nigerians are messing everybody up, what's the 99% doing about it? You happen to be one of the 99%. What exactly do you think we can do, and how long are we going to sit down and watch this kind of thing happening to all of us? Thank
you. See, on a general basis, we must remember one fundamental issue. Leadership and followership are both sides of the same coin. Leadership and followership are both sides of the same coin. Leaders don't drop from heaven. They are part and parcel of us. And we either nominate them, appoint them, or select them. So, like many people say, the type of leadership we have, we deserve it. We deserve that type of leadership we have. Because we see good people, we will not pick them. We pick people who have stolen money and give us trickle down some of the money. And then we complain. We complain. Now, our political parties too are called PDP, PDC, Alliance of Political Groups. Okay? So when you have parties of that nature, like PDP now, they've been rotating, the presidency. Suddenly they came up now and said it's open. Because they want a particular person to contest election. When they should normally rotate it to those who are supposed to have their own term, which is the Southeast, for example. Which is the Southeast, for example. Okay? So this is sort of thing that we discover. There's something wrong with the followership in Nigeria too. Something is wrong with us. Those of us who are followers. And except we change. Again, it's a challenge. Followership is a challenge in Nigeria. And we need to do something about who the followers are. So that we choose the right people amongst us to live. And what's so interesting in Nigeria also is that sometimes NGOs used to make a lot of noise. So some of them got into parliament. And then they get there, they forget about all the things we were discussing. They forgot about all the things as soon as they became politicians. That's what usually happens. And when you know that you can make money without getting punished, so why do you want to bother here? Impunity is also a challenge. Because people don't care. But people don't care. And except we start caring, no. And that's why our present federal system is so bad. Because the state, the people in the state don't question their government. The way they spend money, they don't. They don't question their government at all. So the governments are sending God in their own state. And they spend the money the way they like. So followership is very important as a way to make things change.
Thank you very much, General Ishola. been more than, I think, 1.5 hour intense discussion. So, Paul, please, what's your final comment before we round up? Or is there any other person who wants to? Okay, Paul, your final comment. It's Paul.
All right, General Shaw Williams, we thank you very much for this outing, this of our insecurity or security situation in Nigeria. I commend you so awesomely, and we also implore you in matter issues also honor our invitation whenever we call upon you and other participants. Well, the present situation in Nigeria is unexplained. In fact, in my own view and opinion, personally, as a concerned Nigerian, I believe that government
la 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 la